and we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to another live episode of That's All Funny. We haven't done these in a while, especially with my guest today. You know, great guy. Uh, has a badass wood stove. We were just talking about it. MarcoV193. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Always can do better, but it's been good. It's a hot summer, but
Yeah.
what can we do?
Well, everybody could always be doing better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, I'll. There's always something to complain about. I'll say that. Like, even
Yeah.
if I was doing better, I would say, "Oh, I could be doing better."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but no. I know you were messaging me. You were like, "Hey, I got this idea for episode about Lorenzo Radio," and we've been getting a lot of
Yeah.
musicians lately on the show, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, no, that's pretty cool. It's exciting." Hell
Yeah.
yeah! So,
Yeah. So for I we got a you got a whole bunch of new subscribers. So for those of you who aren't aware, I've made a playlist of all the different songs that Lorenzo has sung or referenced on his show, and the various musicians he's interviewed on his show. If they have their music on Spotify or YouTube Music, I try to throw at least one or two songs on there if I can. But I looked through the list and I realized that there is 180 different artists that are listed. So I figured that I listed them off here on these papers, and I would just roll this d20 here
mm-hmm.
and just land on a random number, and we can just shoot the shit about whatever. What's up, corn diff?
Hey, what's
And
up, Chuckles? I love you. You're great, corn diff. You're a vegetable. I like vegetables, and you're a great vegetable. Hey, Edgar Ibarra, school.
Stool.
Is that how you say it?
That's the soundbite that they usually use. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm down for this little game experiment slash let's get it going. Let's see
Uh,
what happens.
All right, so because I have a D20 here and not a D100, I'll leave it up to you, Lorenzo. So pick a number between 1 and 100.
100.
Yeah,
Let's do 25.
25. Backstreet Boys.
All
Uh,
right.
I have it here that you got three Backstreet songs on the list and one NSYNC song. So I'm guessing you're more of a fan of the Backstreet Boys.
That would be incorrect. I am more of a fan
Really?
of yeah. I am actually more of a fan of NSYNC. Uh I don't know why I don't sing more NSYNC. I prefer NSYNC. Backstreet Boys just have I think they only have like two albums, whereas NSYNC has like a shit ton of albums. So it's easier to just like know a few. And
Mhm.
as far as Backstreet Boys, I like the couple songs that I do sing. They're real short, sweet, and they hit real hard, like "The Call."
Mhm.
I remember the song. I think I sang "This Is Us." I remember hanging out with a girl that I don't want to say was underage. she, I believe she was 18. She was in high school, and I was like 25, and she was like, "Oh, I like this old band Backstreet Boys, this song," and I would like, I guess she didn't have a dad, so I would take her to her softball games and shit, and she was she was cute, like I'll say that, but not to incriminate myself, I believe she was at least 18 because she was in high school, or at least 17, and that's legal in Texas. Uh,
If that's legal in Texas, then that's fine.
yeah, yeah, 17 is legal in Texas, and she was sweet. I think she eventually ended up becoming lesbian, which I don't think that was my fault. Uh, I would hope not. But then again, I do have like pretty big boobs for like a man. Uh I'm not sure what other song I have on there. Uh
If I remember correctly, it was "Larger Than Life" was one.
okay, well that's just one of their like hits.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's just like everybody, yeah. Well that's Backstreet Back, right? Are you larger than life?
I'm
Uh
not sure.
Hey Dirty Dalish, my beautiful Dirty Dalish. I'm crazy about her. Uh she's the
She's a
greatest.
nice lady.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. She's perfect. Okay. That I
All right,
think that's but
all
NSYNC
right.
I
Next.
do prefer NSYNC.
Okay, interesting. All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's roll the d20 here. Three. All right, up or down?
Oh,
Okay. Ataxia. Um,
Ataxia.
yeah. Now, I actually had to look up the definition of ataxia because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just a made up word for a band name because they do that sometimes, but no, apparently the definition of ataxia is basically the medical term for uncoordination. Like you just
Yeah.
can't
You lose
focus, you can't.
control. You lose control
Yeah.
of like yourself. Yeah. And
Yeah. So I can't help but think of like either this is a personal reason why they named the band this, or they just read it and they were like, "Hey, that sounds cool."
I'm not sure about that. I know like I knew the meaning of ataxia cuz I really did like a deep dive when uh from that album it was it's John Frusciante, which is the guitarist for the Chili Peppers.
Mhm.
Josh Klinghoffer is the drummer, which he does his own shit, but he was the guitarist for the Chili Peppers for a few albums recently before Frusciante came back. And then the bassist I think is like from Fugazi, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think his name's like Joe Lally. So it's like Joe, John, and Josh. And if you listen to like the music, the bass line is just the same throughout the all the songs. It's just like one bass line, like do. Like the bass never changes.
Hmm.
It just stays the same. You have the guitar doing whatever the fuck it wants, the drums doing whatever the fuck they want, but the bass never changes. And this was during I don't mean to sound all boring and shit, but this was
No, no, no.
during
That's
like
why we're doing this.
yeah. This was during when John Frusciante was releasing 6 albums in 6 months, and so he released like The Will to Death, Inside of Emptiness, Curtains. He released a bunch of albums, and then Atexia was one of them. It ended up
Mhm.
being like six albums in 10 months, but Atexia is good. They're real long songs. I think it's only like five
Yeah.
songs per album, but they're like 10 minutes, and they're just cool to jam to. Like it's an interesting like chapter in his musical career, like without like his solo stuff. I really like his solo stuff almost more than I love the Chili Peppers, but John Frusciante, I could like follow all his stuff, and he's like just I don't know. He to me he's like the I don't know, like the best as far as male guitarists, singers, songwriters. John Frusciante.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, that's kind of why I'm glad that I'm doing this, but then I also made this playlist was because there's a bunch of stuff on here where I'm just like, I didn't even know that this was a thing, like Ataxia. I never even heard of Ataxia, but then when I forgot what song it was that's on the playlist, but when I listened to it, I was like, huh, this is different. Hmm. It's like there's a bunch of stuff in here that I've never heard before, and I'm just like, this is weird. You know, like
Yeah, and that's why I like. It's funny, like, because I have, a playlist, and then you created a playlist of what,
mhm,
like, I'll sing, and they're all so different. It's not like, oh, I'm just singing fucking Journey, or I'm just singing
right.
like the Police, you know what I mean? I'm
Mhm,
singing like I'm sure there's some that you're like, I remember you messaging me like, where's that from? Like, because
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
I'll I'll just say like one line or something, and it could be the most random like Kickstarter album, or something
Yeah.
that never made it anywhere, and it's like, oh, this exists, you know what I mean? And to me,
Mhm,
like, these are the artists that kind of like that Chloe Caroline that I just interviewed, where it's like, I feel like this should be bigger, because there's music out there that's just like it, but
mhm,
it doesn't get its like, I don't know, it doesn't get the attention it deserves, at least in my
mhm,
eyes. And that's where I kind of want to, build the podcast and the platform where you bring up the person that I feel like, oh, you deserve more eyes on this, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell you put the work in, as far like really into music, and then other things too, like comedy, or
mhm.
any other sort of just person, that I
Yeah.
think deserves more recognition. But music, especially, I'm really into, like, you've noticed the list. There's a certain algorithm to it where it's like, okay, it's mostly pop music, but there's a lot of, like you said, ataxia, like strange stuff where you're like, huh, what is this? And then you just happen to listen to it out of the for the sake of science, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is different.
Yeah. Well, and I also at least give it a cursory listen to just to make sure that it's the right song. But I do listen to the playlist in my free time, and so sometimes songs pop up, and I'm just like, the fuck? When did I put this on there? You know?
Yeah, and it goes from, like you said, like Disney songs to fucking pop songs to rock songs to like industrial
Metal.
metal. It really, like, goes from one edge of the world, back around to the, all the way around back to the other edge.
Yeah, but that's why I like this playlist. It has a little bit of something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go for the next one. Okay. Up or down?
Up.
Okay. Soundgarden.
Uh, what are they sing? Yeah, that's funny. Like,
Oh, they did the Black Hole Sun, Spoon Man.
Spoon Man. There you
Yeah,
go. I'm not really a Soundgarden fan. I'm more of a Chris Cornell fan. Uh,
that's fair.
I
Chris
love his
Cornell is a
voice.
great.
Yeah, he's got a great voice. But I think Spoon Man. The reason I remember singing it, I knew a guy at Home Depot who would have his, like, speaker on, like a little
Mhm.
speaker when we were working, and he would always listen to Soundgarden and Linkin Park and fucking Nirvana, and I'm like, "Are you all right, man?" Like, he's listening to all these people that he's listening to all these people that commit suicide, and I'm like, like, "Are you all right?" Like, I swear that was like his playlist. And I'll say Spoon Man is it's just a good song.
Mhm.
The lyrics, about what, drugs or whatever. But I remember
uh,
also, right, about, like, what's the drug you
oh,
eat with a spoon?
uh, I don't know if you eat it with a spoon, but
Yeah,
heroin, you heat it up in a spoon.
yeah. There you go. You melt it with a spoon.
Yeah.
like oatmeal or something. I remember playing that song too on like Rock Band, and it was fun to play.
Mhm.
Spoon Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mostly where that comes from. But yeah, that guy at Home Depot, I assume he's still there. He was a good, positive dude. But I swear he would listen to like all those artists that I'm like, dude, are you alright? Like these are all like people that have committed suicide. You know.
Yeah. Well, I will say that was a good guess for you to say that Spoon Man was about drugs, but it actually was about a real person.
Like a man that's like a spoon. Like,
No, he goes by the name of Artis the Spoon Man, and he was a street performer in Seattle who would play the spoons.
oh,
And
really?
he is actually a founding member of the organization that is the reason why Pike Place Market allows street performers.
Are you
And if
bullshitting
you
me? Is
listen,
that true?
no, I'm
Okay.
not. Like if you listen to Spoon Man, like near the end of the song, you can hear artists playing the spoons to the bass,
Uh huh.
and that's him. The song's about
Okay.
him.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could understand me mistaking it for it being about
Yeah,
drugs.
yeah, no, I get it. It's just like I get it completely. It's like, Spoon Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Okay.
either about drugs or that's probably about drugs. Yeah, if
or
you aren't sure
or
what the song's about, good bets on drugs.
or a literal man playing spoons. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's see. Next one. All right, up or down?
Down.
Okay. Florence and the Machine.
Florence and the Machine.
Yep. I believe
Oh
the
man.
song that you have on there is a drumming song.
Oh yeah, that's just a great song. No, I've loved Florence and the Machine since their first album, Between Two Lungs. Or I don't know if that's their second album, their first album, but they're one of the bands that I wish I could see live. They're so good, and I guess now that that song came out, The Dog Days Are Over, which is an old song, but it came out on fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, the new volume 3, so it became
Oh,
like a big deal, like being in that movie. And I'm glad they're getting like their due because she's a beautiful singer and they got a beautiful band. But yeah, if anyone like wants to check them out, they should really check out Between Two Lungs. That whole album is just like good. Uh the Dog Days Are Over is good. Drumming Song is good. That whole album is just good. But I like music like that. I'm more, if you've noticed with the playlist, into female strong voices, like
hmm.
the singers. So yeah, no, like Florence and the Machine is just real good. And it's one of the bands that I wish I could see live. Like if I ever do get better with my anxiety and all that, that's definitely like one of the people I want to see live in concert because they seem like they put on a good show.
Yeah, I mean I haven't heard much of them besides the drumming song, but I'll definitely check out that album after this for sure.
Yeah, between two.
The drumming song did catch my attention though, I will say.
Yeah, it gets hard. Like it like crescendos real great, and
Hmm.
the production in it, is great. Well, at least to me, I'm not like a
Yeah.
expert, but it's a good album, Between Two Lungs, and she's
Hmm.
a great singer, and she actually does a really good. I don't know if you know that song, Drake, "Take Care," that he does with Rihanna.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They did a cover of it, and it's because like I guess they're both from Canada, her and
Hmm.
Drake, and she does a live cover of "Take Care," where she sings Drake's rapping part and Rihanna's part, and it's a good cover.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, it's interesting. It's a good. I enjoy that when like other like pretty esteemed bands cover other esteemed bands. You know what I mean? Not just your
Yeah.
YouTube cover, or turning a song into like fucking ska music or whatever.
Yeah, or taking a song that already exists and like making it a different genre
Yeah,
that
like
nobody asked for.
pop punk or something. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
depends. It depends. It depends.
Yeah. I mean, it can be done, but for the most part, nah, you probably shouldn't have. You should have just left it alone. But if done well, then it can be done. So,
Definitely.
all right, next, up or down.
Down.
All right. Okay. Baby metal.
Baby metal. if
Yeah.
anyone knows, if anyone knows what baby metal is, it's I don't know if you.
It's basically it's a trio of Japanese girls, and they are a J-pop idol band. But instead of it being a typical J-pop group, it's backed by heavy metal.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
I don't know if you'd call it
yeah,
somebody's wet dream or something, but
I'm sure it's somebody's wet dream. I
oh yeah,
look at the fan base. Are you kidding me?
yeah. I just like that one song, "Gimme Chocolate." It's I don't know. It's a fun song. It I remember just putting it on my playlist, and it gets you kind of like pumped up at work. And then like seeing the live performances I've seen of them, it looks like they actually kind of care. It's but I can't think of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I can't think of the executive that was like, let's try pairing this and see if it works, and then it fucking works. And like, to
yeah.
it's not even like oh, they're just popular in Japan or popular, they're
Hmm.
popular everywhere. So like,
Yeah,
whoever the fuck took that risk, and it worked like fucking a million times over. It's like, that's like
yeah,
a one in a billion chance. It's like, oh shit, this worked. Like,
yeah. I
so
I
like,
remember, yeah, I remember when I first heard baby metal was probably in like 2012 or something like that, and I forgot who it was that showed it to me, but someone showed it to me, and I listened to it, and I was just like, there is no fucking way anybody would listen to this. Who the fuck would listen to this? And then fast forward to now, they're going on tour with fucking Rob Zombie and fucking Disturbed and like all these other metal bands. And I'm just like, well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll shut up now. You know?
yeah, it's something that like, 99 out of 100 times it's not gonna work, and
But
for
for some
whatever,
reason,
yeah, for whatever reason it worked. And I remember seeing like, there's a clip out there on YouTube of Flea and Josh Klinghoffer from the Chili Peppers playing with them when they were in LA or something.
yeah,
It's very strange. Like, I don't even know if they had their instruments plugged in. They were just like looking like they were jamming out with them.
yeah,
Uh so it's very strange, but it works. And like, kudos to them, like, for it working. I'm more of a person, if you've noticed the playlist, where I like more songs than bands. It just depends on the band. Like, of course, Chili
mhm,
Peppers I like a lot of, no doubt. I like a lot of Aqua. I like a lot of uh John Frusciante. But then whenever you look at it, it's mostly just like songs. It's not really like
mhm,
whole bands that I prefer. So like,
yeah,
as far as them, like, maybe just that one song. And I haven't heard the rest of it. I think it probably all sounds the same, but the fact that like it works and someone thought of
yeah.
it, like, holy shit, like,
Yeah,
amazing.
even when I don't like the music, I do give credit to any group that does their own thing and makes it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They just
but
fucking took it and ran with it, and it worked.
like to ridiculous monumental, where they're filling
Yeah,
stadiums and shit. It's just like,
around the world.
yeah, it's just like, goddamn, like that is like more impressive than impressive. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, lucky bitches. Anyway, uh, up or down?
Up.
Okay. Ah, here we go. System of a Down.
Oh yeah, System Down's great. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
bands I can listen to all the time. Growing up, high school with the teenage angst. That's when I got to know them, and they're just a great band. Like, whether you like as a kid or as a teenager, you don't really get the message. Now as an adult, you kind of get the message more, and yeah, they're just like, it's, I don't know, it's just good music to me. It's good music,
Mm-hmm.
good harmonies, very simple. I know if like you're a guitar player, I know they're just like, what, power chords or whatever you would call them, like just one notes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, well, that ultimately depends on who you're talking to. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to break it down from like a music theory standpoint, yeah, System of a Down is not that complicated.
yeah,
However, I would also argue that System of a Down came out in like the early '90s, mid early '90s, something like that. And metal as a genre existed for decades before System of a Down became formed. Can you name any other metal band before or after System of a Down that sounds like System of a Down?
really, no, like,
Exactly.
yeah,
They came up with something so simple and yet they made it their own. They came up with a totally unique sound in a metal genre. It's
yeah,
very admirable.
yeah, yeah, and no, it's just, to me, just good music. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard, it's, hard, but then he has the beautiful voice, the Serge Tankian, that goes with, harmonizes with the kind of like scratchy ass voice that is Darren Belankian.
Mm-hmm.
But it just works, and then they have a message to it. And I don't know, like, you could say, and that's just my opinion, that all their music kind of sounds the same, but that's not a bad thing, like,
Yeah.
I like it, you know what I mean? It's, and I could
Well,
not,
yeah, it's
yeah, it's
yeah.
something. It's, to me, it's good, and I could probably listen to like all of their albums, like, no issue, all of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, to me, I don't think they've put out like a bad song. Like, if I had to, you know, uh, say that about them for all
Yeah,
their
you've
albums.
got I've counted 11 System of a Down songs that you've referenced on the playlist.
Yeah, that's a band I'd like to see live too. Uh,
Yeah,
System.
if Serge had stopped being a dick for 5 minutes.
I feel like he could be allowed to be like that though. That just seems like, you know what I mean. Like, that's just
not
his
not when it gets in the
character.
way of another System of a Down album, for fuck's sake.
It's like you try to tell him, "Hey, make an album," and he's just like, Armenian genocide, and you're like, "Well, fuck, man!" Like, like, that's just something he can always hold against people. Well, the Armenians had a genocide that. All right, fine.
you ex-
Take your
you expect me to come into studio and make an album while my brothers are being massacred right now? How dare
yeah,
you?
yeah. It's like, all right, man. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah. Actually, the whole band's Armenian.
Yeah, yeah, and it surprised me. Like, I love them, like System of a Down, but I'm not a big fan of like either of their single. Like, I know Darren
Their
Malankian did
outside
like,
projects.
yeah, I know he did like Scars on
Yeah.
Broadway, and it's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay, but it's not like John
he does
Frusciante
not. He
to me.
yeah. He just doesn't have a frontman voice. He just doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. And then when Serge Tankian did man, I know he did his own stuff like the
Mhm.
what was it? That he has that one video of, like the kids playing with blocks, and it's like the twin towers getting hit, but it's like an airplane
Yeah,
getting hit on Legos, and it's
yeah.
just not the
I forgot what
same.
song that was.
I can't
Yeah,
remember what it's called, but it's just not the same. Like them, they need to be together for it to sound good, in my opinion. Again.
yeah, yeah. It's they're kind of in this for me anyway. They're kind of in the same spectrum as Primus in a way, where they're just like they have their own unique sound, and in that regard, if you replaced any member of that band, it would immediately fuck it up, and it wouldn't be the same anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
The weirdness of each of those guys is what makes System of a Down that sound. And if you replaced it with anybody else and you tried to create something new, it wouldn't be the same.
No, no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Next, up or down?
Up.
Okay. Okay. Ludicrous.
Ludicrous. Well, when I was a younger kid, I'll say that. Not high school. High school was more the metal, System of a
Hmm.
Down, and all that. I'd say before that, I was more into like rap music, like Ludacris, and especially Ludacris. I don't know why. I just liked his music, but what makes me laugh about Ludacris in particular is back in the day. And I make this sound so old, but we had the radio, and the radio had to be censored. So you
Hmm.
had some songs like Eminem where it would just either change the words or censor, like bleep them out, or like erase them where there's no sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
or
like
they take the curse word and play it in reverse or something.
yeah, yeah. Whereas Ludacris, it always cracked me up because he added like sound effects every time he had like a bad word, and sometimes I remember like this was during the LimeWire phase too, where I would download shit on LimeWire, and I would actually
Hmm.
look for the radio edit. Like I preferred the radio edit more because it was just more entertaining than than the than hearing the cuss words, and because you heard like car sounds, or I don't know, like the way he edited his, or whoever produced his, it was just more entertaining to me. So it always made me laugh whenever hearing like check out the oil in my Cadillac, and like you heard sound effects or something. And
Yeah.
yeah, back then when Ludacris was making music, I liked his music. Now he's like an actor or whatever the fuck you want to call him for all those
Yeah, I have
Fast
no
and
idea what
Furious
he's doing
movies.
now.
He's in all like the Fast and Furious movies, and that's like
Oh
literally
yeah.
all he's known for. Which I guess the way those budgets are, you could just make a living being in those movies, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
yeah, yeah. But back when he did make music, I really did like his rap because it was more like silly and funny, and he always had like funny ass videos uh
Hmm.
of himself, but not that's like a back that's relic those are relics now, to time.
Hmm. Yeah, you got to put it in a time capsule and shoot it into space.
Yeah, like it's kind of like, oh, Ludacris, oh, the actor, and it's like, no, the musician, when he made music. Or oh, The Rock, oh, the wrestler, no, the actor. Like it gets to a point
Yeah,
where children or people only know a celebrity for like the more recent things they did. He's like, no, Ludacris used to to make music.
Yeah. It's like
It's
that with
albums.
it's like that with Ice T. It's like that with Ice T also. When I bring up Ice T to people, it's like you know Ice T, right? And they're like, that dude from CSI. I'm like, also the godfather of hip hop, but yes, the dude from CSI. You know?
Yeah, it's like okay, I don't know, like it's hilarious to me that some people only know people from a certain you know, cutoff time. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy to think about.
Mhm.
All right. Up or down?
Down.
Okay. Ace of Base.
Oh man, I love Ace of Base. Another band I wish I could see live. Uh
Are they
the,
still touring? Are they still doing stuff?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I know Aqua is still doing stuff and they're like from the same
Wow.
era. My sister actually just bought tickets to go see Aqua in Austin.
You're not
So
going?
well, my anxiety. I'd go, but my anxiety, like I can't really go anywhere. But she is taking my niece, and I'm like, okay, good. Like
Oh, okay.
you
Yeah.
get to hear good music. But Ace of Base is pretty much like to me the same like era where it was '90s music. It's very '90s,
Mhm.
very synth and all that, European, whatever you want to call it, Europop. And yeah, I grew up around my sister, who was my older sister, so she had the money to buy music, so I would just listen to her music. And Ace of Base is one of those like bands, along with like Aqua, No Doubt, Alanis Morissette. She listened to a
Mhm.
lot of what a girl would listen to back then, and I grew to like it, that pop music. But yeah, Ace of Base is just good. Like I don't know, like they have so many. I don't know if people know about them, but they have like a lot of hit songs. Like I Saw the Sign, Beautiful Life,
Mhm.
All That She Wants. I don't know. They just got a lot of songs where I'm sure it's music you could hear in like a fucking grocery store. Like
Mhm.
you'll hear it up in the speaker and be like,
Yeah.
oh shit, Ace of Base. You know what I mean? Like or something like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
to me it's good music. Like and then there's no bad words to it unless like you look at the song All That She Wants and it sounds kind of racist if you like break down the lyrics, like all that she
Really.
wants is another baby, she's gone tomorrow, boy, all that. And I think it's about like a black woman wanting that one night stand or something. Like
Hmm.
it some of those songs like back then you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
hear you hear the you hear the beat or you hear like the melody and it sounds beautiful, but then you read the lyrics and you're like, "Oh, this is dirty," but in like a hidden sort of way,
Yeah.
uh like the perfect example to me, I used to sing when I was a kid. There's a song by the Spice Girls called "Two Become One," and used to
Ah.
sing used to sing as a kid. It's like I need some love like I never needed love before, gonna make love to
Yeah.
you, babe, highly in love now. And as a kid, there's no bad words in it, so you're like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
sing this. Set your spirit free, it's the only way. And you're like, oh shit, this song's about sex. The song's
Yeah.
about fucking, like bumping uglies, and
Yeah.
uh I guess that's how, a lot of it was back then cuz you couldn't fucking cuss or do anything. But yeah, I'm like, "Oh shit, some of this is dirty or it has other messages to it." But Ace of Base is just to me like good pop music from the 90s. It's like 90s is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's very much a '90s staple for sure.
Yeah, no, wonderful. I love the 90s as far as music goes.
All right, up or down?
Uh, what does that say? Make Marco V sing the song. I don't even know what song. I sang the song. I sang
I'll
a
sing the
couple of
song if
songs.
I know the song. If I don't know the song, I don't know what to tell you.
Go up.
Okay. Uh, Journey.
Uh, what is it? I'm more into. I think I sing Separate Ways, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Separate Ways. I'm not a big fan of Small Town Girl Living in a Lonely World. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's like
That's
played
overplayed to
out.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm like, I heard Separate Ways, and I'm like, dude, this song, like, why isn't this one their fucking banger? Like, he fucking goes hard on. Well,
Hmm.
he goes hard on the other one too. No, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But Separate Ways, like, someday love will find you, break
Hmm.
those chains that bind you, and like
Yeah.
it goes
And
pretty hard.
yeah, I'm one of those guys that normally when there's a synth in a metal band, it immediately turns me off and I fucking hate it. And Journey is in that. But that song, Separate Ways, like there is something about it where even I'm just like, God damn it, this is a good song. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for some, like, I feel like that's the song that people should be
Hmm.
karaokeing other than, the other song, which I don't know why I
Well,
can't think of the name.
well, there's a lot of long high notes in that song though.
Yeah, yeah. But Separate Ways I think is like the superior song. Uh
Absolutely.
but then also I'm more of a fan of Foreigner too. And I don't know why I always feel like it's Foreigner versus Journey for some reason. I feel like Foreigner should be the better band too. Because I feel like they, hear my eyes with that double vision. Like, they just have
Hmm.
better songs to me instead of just like the one or two or the three. But
Yeah.
yeah, Separate Ways to me is like the better song.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I think I say MarcoV193. Welcome to the stream. Cut of the jib. Welcome to the stream.
All right. It's oh crap. I lost my place. Okay. Up or down?
Down.
Down. All right. Julie Roberts.
I've been trying to interview her lately. She was one of those like Kickstarter country, or I don't know if you remember Pledge Music. It's a lot like Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Pledge Music was
Yeah.
this web.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a website where like you could, oh hey, I'm trying to put out my album. Help me fund it by pledging so much for the digital version, for an autograph version, blah blah blah. And I think I helped funded. I don't know if it was her first album or her second album. But I just really liked her country music. She writes like good songs. Like, I think there's a song, "Sure Hate to Break Down Here," none in the rearview mirror. So she's got a nice voice. Uh, there's that song. There's Men in Mascara. There's, man, what's the other song? There's one that like kind of goes hard, but in a country way. I can't
Hmm.
remember I can't remember the fucking the tone of it, but she just has like a good country voice, and I feel like it's like the artist we talked about earlier, where I wish more people knew about her. Like I
Hmm.
feel like she should be bigger. Especially when you
Yeah.
have like nothing against Taylor Swift, but she's playing like mega stadiums, and
And also, how
it's
many Grammys does she have? Like,
yeah, and it's becoming like very manufactured pop music. Hers,
hmm,
when before, when she was singing her like country songs inside of a fucking Starbucks or whatever she used to do little small shows, it was different. Now
yeah.
she's doing like mega stadiums, and to me it's like, well, at least like give some of the rub off to these other like girls, who I feel like they have just as much talent because they're writing their own music, they're singing their own music, they're playing their own music, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's like that. It's like the Chloe Carolines, the Julie Roberts. That's like they're really trying to make it, and yeah, it's like that. It's one of those artists where it's like, oh, you got to kind of look for.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the nice thing about the time that we live in is that on one hand, there's anybody who has a laptop can make music, and so there's a lot of garbage that you got to dig through. But at the same time, that means I can do it. That means you can do it. That means anybody can do it. So if
Hmm.
someone has the talent, they can record themselves and put it out there for anybody to listen to. You don't have to go to a record label. You don't have to get the equipment yourself. You don't have to go through all this bullshit just to find music, you know?
Hmm. No, definitely, and like you said, you got to dig through like a lot of the fucking garbage that's out there because anyone can make it. So a lot of it is garbage. But when you do find like that one artist, and I found many artists where it's just like, man, why aren't you like more fucking popular? Why why
Hmm.
why aren't more people listening to you? And I don't know. It's stuff like that where I'm like, that's why I mean, I didn't start the podcast just to do that, but it is something I want to do, is like amplify those artists or
Yeah,
voices, that I feel like you deserve more exposure, like uh shit like that, like you're talented, like more people should know you. And that's a lot of like what this is about, like, hey man,
yeah,
like your comedy deserves more viewers, your music deserves more fans, stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also putting it on a platform like this where that music is subjective. It's art. So maybe not all of your subscribers will like her music, but there's a good handful of them that probably will. And the ones that will take that music and show them to their friends and family, who will then show it to their friends and family. And that you're basically just planting the seed for them.
Yeah, and I like to be, and you know very well, open to a lot of different artists, a lot of different
Hmm.
genres, to where I'm not just going to interview pop music. I'm not just going to interview metal musicians. I'm not just going to interview comedians. I'm not just going to interview stuttering people. I'm going to like I'm going to interview like anyone and everyone that I can, have these questions, and then still, let's say even if I didn't for whatever reason like their music, still want to know, like, okay, your inspirations, or
Hmm.
how, like stuff like that, like, what keeps you going, how, what inspires you, and just have a good conversation with these people.
Yeah, 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 and also just your philosophy of just talking to people from all walks of life. You just learn about all sorts of different shit from people that just lived a different life from you. You know,
Y-
you just
yeah.
people just kind of learn things that you never did just from existing.
Yeah, I've realized that like everybody kind of has like a story, like I'm sure there are some people out there that are NPCs in the world that whenever whenever they disappear from your sight, they're not there anymore, so that the memory is, the RAM isn't being used. But
Yeah,
more or less, there are people who are real like characters, and they have a story. They have stories. It's interesting.
yeah. All right. Up or down?
Up.
Okay. Power Man 5000.
What is it?
When
Just
Worlds
that?
Collide.
I was like, just that one song. Was it? Was
Yeah,
it
when Worlds
on?
Collide.
Wasn't it on Tony Hawk? One of the Tony Hawk games. I I
Probably.
I think it was. I think it was on like Tony Hawk 1 or 2, or just like uh are you ready to go? Cause I'm ready to go. What you
Yeah, yeah.
gonna do, baby? I want to say it was just on like a Tony Hawk game, and I remember playing. I remember playing like the shit out of Tony Hawk. Even if it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was on the demo. I think on the demo was Blood Brothers by Papa Roach, where it was like
I think so.
yeah, I think that might have been on the demo. Uh, but Power Man 5000 is just, I don't even know any other Power Man 5000 songs other than fucking Worlds Worlds
When
Collide,
World.
and it's literally
Yeah.
just from like the Tony Hawk fucking shit.
I actually
That's
saw. Yeah, I've actually
uh
saw Power Man 5000 once.
did
Uh,
you?
yeah, I did. They
It is
my tattoo
are,
artist dragged me to a show.
are they a band, or is it
Yeah,
like they have guitars and drums and shit?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because it sounds like techno music almost too. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's a reason for that because the lead singer is actually Rob Zombie's little brother.
hey, when you say little brother, it makes me think like Rob Zombie's like a Minecraft zombie, and his little brother's like like a baby zombie. Like
Yeah, he's faster than him. Just pew!
yeah. That's what I picture is just like a Minecraft zombie and then a baby zombie. Uh
He's okay. He's his younger brother. I should have said that.
I mean it's the same thing,
Yeah,
but
that's funny though. That is funny.
yeah, that's what I picture though immediately.
Yeah.
Uh hey Chuckles, how you doing?
How's it
Welcome to the
going?
stream. Chuckles, I love you, I miss you. I hope you're doing great. Hello Andrew Sabilo, welcome to the stream. You're doing great too. But I do love Chuckles, she's great. Uh yeah, no, just that one song, and I think it was from a
Yeah.
Tony Hawk game. That's it. Like I honestly did not know. Like when you saw them live, did they play like? Do you know if they had so many albums in existence or?
My tattoo artist dragged me to the show, and he was way more into Power Man 5000 than I was. So he kind of gave me the crash course on them. And yeah, they have a decent amount of albums. When Worlds Collide is obviously their biggest hit, but they have some other pretty good songs. I will say, not enough for me to say that I'm a die-hard Power Man 5000 fan, but they have some good ones.
Yeah, I'm sure. If I've heard like more, but that one song is like enough. Like to,
Yeah,
to me, I
and
hear it.
they put on a good show for dudes in their middle ages. They put on a good show, I will say.
That's pretty cool. No, that
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like and I don't know if this is just me, but I've been to like Tejano like Mexican music concerts, and I feel like
Mhm.
any concert, it's really hard to not like a live show. You know what I mean? Like I feel like lately all live music is good music. I don't know. That's just me. I feel.
Yeah. Well, I actually remember one time I went to a local show. I don't remember what the group was, and it's probably better if I didn't because I wouldn't want to embarrass them. But so this is like a local bands, probably people you never heard of before, and I don't know if they're even still around. But this one band goes up first, and they warm up the crowd. They're like, "All right, you guys ready to go?" Like, "Yeah!" And then they start playing, and the song's fucking awful. It's like the worst thing. Like, oh my god! Like the only thing that sounded right was the drums. Like the drums were in time. That was perfectly fine. Everyone else sounded awful. And after that song was over, they just kind of looked at each other, confused. They were like, "The fuck?" And so they tuned their. So they're like, "Hang on a second." And so they tuned their guitars, and then played the second song. And then it started to sound good, and then it went to shit again. And so I was sitting there thinking about it. I was just like, "Oh no, they put on fresh strings, didn't they? Oh no, you didn't stretch them. Oh no." So these poor bastards just ate their balls on stage for like a half hour, constantly tuning their guitars. It's just like, oh my god,
Oh
no,
Lord, that's
that is
some
a
rookie
nightmare.
shit.
Yeah,
I feel like that's rookie shit to know like
yeah.
that shit's gonna like yeah, like you said, the strings are gonna unstretch and I don't know,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I understand the logic where you're like, hey, I want to get fresh strings because I want to sound good. Yeah,
mhm.
that makes sense. But you got to stretch them. If you don't, then they don't work.
Or they
So
untune, like very easily,
yeah, they untuned. Yeah.
Mhm. I'll say
Right.
we do one more and then I got a split to
All
go
right.
to fucking well my what was it? My fucking psychiatrist appointment.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well then I'll just leave it with this. This one will be multiple choice. I have this tally here of songs that you have referenced, and I'm going to give you four of them, and I want you to guess which one is the artist that you've most referenced on Lorenzo Radio. So we have Michael Jackson, Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, and System of a Down.
uh let's say John Frusciante.
Believe it or not, it is actually a three-way tie between Frusciante, Chili Peppers, and System of a Down. Michael Jackson got beat by one song.
I do love Michael Jackson, even though
Yes, you.
you
Yeah.
know those accusations. I grew up listening to him. Yeah, System of a Down. When we talked about them,
Hmm.
uh, John Frusciante, we talked about him. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I saw them live, but I saw them live with the other guitarist, Josh Klinghoffer. So I didn't get to see with John Frusciante now that he's back in the band.
Hmm.
My and it sucks because like my sister did get tickets, and she took my niece, which I'm glad, and she was like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay." She's like, "It's okay," and it. She probably thinks like she's 11, so or 12, I forget, but she probably thinks like, "Oh well, my uncle listens to this shit all the time. Like it's boring, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?" Like, but
I
yeah,
don't know. Like you said, like there's some bands where when you listen to it, you're just like meh. But then when you see them live, you're just like, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? So maybe it'll be like that for her, where she sees Flea doing his thing, and she's like, oh, what is he doing? You know, like.
well, she did see it and she liked it, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I think like as a kid, you see something and then you're like, whatever, and then as an adult later on, you're like, oh shit, I saw them. Like, you know what I mean? When I was a kid,
Yeah,
like you're not gonna appreciate it until later on, when you're like,
yeah,
oh shit, I saw that band when I was a kid. Like, it was, I don't know. That's just how kids are. I get it.
yeah,
She'd rather see fucking I don't know, like she'd rather watch an anime or something than go to like a concert. Uh,
Yeah, but I mean, one's just watching a show, and the other one's just being rubbing shoulders with a bunch of other sweaty, shirtless dudes, just waiting for the concert to start. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
can't say I
yeah,
blame her.
yeah. No, and I'm surprised Gwar. Well, how many? Because I know Gwar. I don't know if I talk about them a lot as far as music, but I've seen them live.
I don't
Like
think you've. Yeah, I don't think you've mentioned Guar on or referenced Guar at all. I
sing
don't think Guar's
really.
on this list.
I think I
Yeah.
only know like one. You know, I only know like one Gwar song, but I've seen them live like 5 or 6 times.
How the hell did that happen?
Because they just if you've ever seen Gwar live, they put on a good show.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I've just seen them so many times, but I like that one song, Immortal,
Hmm.
Corruptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song goes fucking hard. Um, but yeah, I've seen them like 6 times, maybe 2 or 3 times in Austin, once in Eagle Pass, and then maybe once or twice here in San Antonio. And one time I took my cousin to see them here, and it was like this moment, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Just drenched in blood,
yeah,
Odoris's
yeah.
alien dick,
Well,
just swinging.
well, the thing was like we were kind of in the back to the left,
Oh, okay.
and I was like holding her like she had bad knees, so I was like holding her kind of like piggyback style so she didn't have to
Uh huh.
stand the whole time. And we were like not drenched at all in gore juices. And then at the very end, the encore song, when they're ending it, I swear you see the fucking one of their slaves look like directly at us, and we're clean, and he just sprays the fuck out of us with the gun, and we get drenched in those gore juices, dude, and we were just there like but it was great, you
Yeah.
know. And but yeah, Gore, I've seen them
uh,
so many times. Uh, I wish again, like I think they were just here in San Antonio, and I wish I could see them again. But I need my medication to. I don't know. I need to up it big time
yeah.
or something. Which is why I'm
I
seeing you
wish I
doctor
could have.
today.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could have seen Guar before their singer died.
Yeah,
They're.
I
I
know.
mean,
I
they're.
saw Odorous. I don't know how many times I saw him. Like I want to say it was at least twice, and then I saw the new singer too, like at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing against the new guy, and he was originally a member of Guar to begin with, so he's not just some dude, at least.
Hmm.
But it's just not the same. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
no,
it just doesn't have that oomph with David. You know.
no, yeah, I completely get it. And then I don't know if you have Shutter, but they have a good war documentary on Shutter.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, you should watch it. It's real good. Like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like exclusive to Shutter. And it just came out maybe earlier this year about Gore, and it's like emotional, but then it's also funny, and it
Hmm.
tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about the band, and it was really good. Especially how many times I've seen Gore. Like I don't know, it was
Yeah.
heartwarming to say the least. Even though there's a bunch of huge
Yeah.
alien dicks in it and shit like that.
Yeah. One of my favorite David Brocky interviews was on. Are you familiar with the Opie and Anthony show?
I know of it. I
Okay.
couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least you're aware of it. So David Brocky went on that show twice, once as Odorous in character, and then another time as just as himself.
Hmm.
And when he was Odorous, he was talking about Phil Anselmo from Pantera talking shit about Guar, and he does like this half-ass like Phil Anselmo impression and just says Guar, fucking Guar. You know what? They have a song on one of their albums that's called I am in love with a dead dog. That's a fucking stupid name for a song. And he's like, and I'm just sitting here going, what the fuck are you talking about? That's a great name for a song.
I mean, one man's opinion, is another
Yeah.
man's.
Like he was just actually offended. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
No, I love gore, man. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I could watch. They know how to put on a show, and typically their tickets are like real cheap. I don't know how much they are now, but they're not fucking Taylor Swift stadium
right.
fucking prices, and they actually put on a show. Uh,
Yeah, and at least you're not paying out of your pocket just to get your clothes ruined.
yeah. It's I don't know. The whole industry nowadays is crazy, but yeah, I want thanks like for taking the time to do this. It was fun, man. Like it was real
Yeah,
great. Definitely the list will continue to grow, so I'm sure we could do another one of these
yeah,
types of I wouldn't say deep dives, but explanations slash just shooting the shit.
yeah.
But yeah, that Lorenzo Radio is available what on YouTube, Spotify, and all that.
Yep. Yeah, well, YouTube Music and Spotify at the moment. I'm still debating on whether I want to duplicate it elsewhere because that was already a lot of work to put it on both of those. But
I
uh,
imagine.
but yeah, Spotify, YouTube Music, Lorenzo Radio. Follow it, like it, share it, all that shit. And if you and also, I'm just gonna put an open call out there if you're a subscriber of the show and there's any songs that remind you of Lorenzo or the show or things that he's talked about or whatever, why don't you just put it in the comments? And if Lorenzo likes it or if I like it, then I'll throw it in. How about that?
Yep. Yeah. No, definitely. Because I like just finding out about new music. In any
Yeah,
in any way, it's nice. And with the internet now, you could just kind of, hey, you should listen to this. Okay, cool. And then, oh, where
yeah,
can I find it? Literally anywhere. And it's like,
yeah.
okay, cool.
Well, yeah, like you when we talked about ataxia, I was just like, I had to Google what ataxia was. Like, what the fuck, you know? And then at the same time, I got to tell you the story of Spoon Man. So
Yeah. I had no idea it was literally about a Spoon Man player. I thought it was deeper than that. I didn't know it was this
yeah,
so shallow of a story. But
yeah,
oh
no, it's
well.
literally about a dude who played spoons.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad for giving them that much credit. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to come in and watching. Where can they find you, Marco V, on Twitter, right? Uh,
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at MarcoV with two E's, 193. My DMs are open, so if you want to tell me I suck, I'd love to hear about it, and I'll get back to you the best I can. I'm not like a comedian or a podcaster or anything like that, so I don't really have anything to promote. Just Lorenzo Radio, and yeah, if you got any song suggestions, put them in the comments. Thank you for having me, Lorenzo, and I hope we could do this again. This was actually a lot of fun.
yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun, and thanks for suggesting it. And it was fun. We'll definitely do it again. But yeah,
Yeah.
everyone, take care, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye.